If you ever find yourself driving in Texas on 45 North between Houston and Huntsville, you are in for an amazing sight. Welcome to Huntsville, Texas. You can probably hear all the noise from the interstate in the background, but wait until you see this. This is amazing. Will you look at the size of this statue? Unbelievable. With the possible exception of the Statue of Liberty, which is in a league all its own, this is, without a doubt, the largest statue I have ever seen. It stands 67 feet tall. And as I walk away, I see I'm finally at the point where I can get the whole thing in my viewfinder. We're gazing upon none other than Sam Houston. This is kind of a noisy place to talk about old Sam, but he was an amazing guy. He was born in 1793 when George Washington was still president. And as a very young man, he ran off and lived with the Cherokees, where he was known as Raven. How cool is that? He ran off, you hear stories about young kids in the 1800s, 1900s running off to join the circus. He ran off to join the Cherokee Nation and was called Raven, like a superhero. And then he returned to Tennessee in 1812, where he fought in the War of 1812 alongside Old Hickory Andrew Jackson. And he raised to the rank of lieutenant and became a good friend of Jackson. After the war ended, he presided over the removal of the Cherokees from Tennessee, which, when you think about it, is really weird because he was a friend of the Cherokee. Nevertheless, it was part of the Indian Removal Act, and they moved the Cherokee Nation from Tennessee east over the Mississippi River to, I suppose, what is now, roughly Oklahoma. But it didn't end there, no. Sam Houston went on to become a congressman to the state of Tennessee. And after his time in Congress, with the support of Jackson, he became the governor of the state of Tennessee. Well, after his time as governor, his marriage collapsed and he left politics, and he actually went and rejoined the Cherokee people. I'll tell you, at this point, this would be an exciting life for anybody. Living with the Cherokees, fighting in the War of 1812, becoming a congressman, a governor, and then going back and living with the Cherokees. That's enough for one life, but Sam was just getting started. He has not even yet set foot in the great state of Texas. You know why? There was no state of Texas yet. But eventually he worked his way to which was then Mexico, where he was instrumental in separating Texas from Mexico. Surprisingly, he became a military leader, and once Texas became its own nation, that's right, Texas was the Republic of Texas, he became the very first president. Oh, and after his term was up, he also became the third president of Texas. So there you go, President Houston. He was also instrumental in annexing Texas into the United States of America, at which point he became the senator to Texas. After which he became the governor of Texas. It just never ends with this guy. As successful of a life as he had, toward the end, it kind of took a downswing because he refused to be part of the separation during the Civil War. He would not join the Confederacy, and so he was removed from office. It was about then that he decided to run for President of the United States. Unfortunately, he was running as a third-party candidate against none other than Abraham Lincoln. Can you imagine if Sam Houston would have won that election? We may never have heard of Abraham Lincoln. Oh, that would have been terrible. Especially since Sam Houston died in 1863, he never would have seen the end of the Civil War. Not surprisingly, Sam Houston was also a Mason. And boy, do I love this slogan: govern wisely and as little as possible. And perhaps that's why Texans are as independent as they are. But what about the statue? I really can't get over the size of this thing. It's unbelievable. If you're ever driving north from Houston to Huntsville, you will not miss it. I see it is showing some wear in places. Maybe it needs to be retouched, painted, patched perhaps. It is only concrete, and it is 25 years old. This is called the Gene Pipes Amphitheater, and I would imagine that they put on presentations here. And I'm also guessing that this face is actual size. It's about 6 feet tall. I'll put my hand on this in order to give you a little bit of frame of reference. So my hand cannot even cover his entire eye. That's how big this is. I just checked in at the visitor center, and this is actual size. So the face alone is about 6 feet tall on that 67-foot tall statue. Hey, Bogey. Hi, I keep seeing cats all over Texas.
This is part of the chin, and on the right is a piece of the ear. The torso and hand are pieces of the scale model. They built it life size as Sam, 6'7", and then multiplied everything by 10 to get the size of the big statue. The two round things are buttons on the jacket, and the rifle is a Kentucky Standard rifle. It's the type of rifle they used in the Texas Revolution. That one in particular was made in 1993. It's a working reproduction. They cut the mold into 1-foot sections to measure everything and built the statue in 10-foot sections.
Is the statue hollow?
Yes, it's a steel frame covered in a wire mesh and about 6 inches of layered fiberglass and concrete.
Can you get inside it?
Unfortunately not. They have an access hatch in one of the booths, but that's sealed up. It's just for maintenance when they go in to touch up any welds they might need to or things like that. The yellow in the background is the fiberglass mesh that they used in the construction to reinforce the concrete. The gloves are from the artist. They're the gloves he used. And so is that little spatula thing. And the pipe is from the city manager at the time, Gene Pipes.
And it's not a gift shop if it doesn't have shot glasses. $6.99 for a shot glass. Based on Sam Houston's accomplishments, I think they should have built it twice as high. It was built in 1994, so it has stood here looking over the highway for over 25 years, welcoming people to the city of Huntsville. Why Huntsville? Why not Houston, the city that bears his name? Because Sam Houston lived in Huntsville. He said that Huntsville reminded him of his home, his boyhood home back in Tennessee. In fact, Huntsville is where Sam Houston is buried. And that's another story. So let's go take a look at his gravesite. And this is Sam Houston's final resting place. And this memorial sign pretty much tells the story of Sam Houston that you just heard from me. There's a fascinating and interesting story behind the burial of this man, Sam Houston. He died in 1863, and about 34 years later, in 1897, some citizens of the state of Tennessee not only wanted to lay claim to Sam Houston as being a favorite son, but they wanted to lay claim to his body. That's right, they wanted to have the body of Sam Houston exhumed and moved to Tennessee. And why not? He did grow up there. He was a 2-term congressman. He was their governor. But Texas wasn't going to allow that to happen, especially the Texas Rangers. Now, they were getting a little long in the tooth. By 1897, the Wild West wasn't exactly so wild anymore. Things were starting to become a bit tame. But some of them actually remembered and even knew personally Sam Houston. And while I couldn't find any record of what finally happened, obviously, Sam Houston is still in Texas. Although this is the final resting place of Sam Houston, this is not the original tombstone. It wasn't until 1911 that this monument was finally put in place, and none other than William Jennings Bryan spoke at the event. What a life and what a man. I can't imagine one person doing all the things that Sam Houston did. He lived with the Cherokees. He fought in the War of 1812 alongside Andrew Jackson. He became a congressman, a governor. He went back to live with the Cherokees. Then he was instrumental in the founding of the state of Texas, where he became a senator, a governor, a president of that new, although short-lived nation. He did so much. I'm surprised they don't name the entire state of Texas Houston. I hope you enjoyed our visit and our look at the life of Sam Houston. As always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. Leave your comments down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And don't forget to ring that bell icon way up there in the corner so you know when I post new videos. Thanks for joining me. I'm Mark, and this is the Average Me channel. This is kind of a noisy place to talk about old Sam.